the Casa is always such a great voice for the kids.
I don't know, he's just kind of captured my heart.
If I can't do it, who's going to do it? I have to do it. I have 3 great kids. I can give back.
I've always found Casas, especially in community family court, but us in delinquency court as well, to be very valuable team members.
The heart of Casa for me, and the reason that it works so well for me, is that you can have a profound impact on a child or all your kids, if you're lucky, in a relatively short period of time.
I became a Casa after I retired. I wanted to do something to help the community. I looked into Casa, I looked at their mission, their values. I learned what Casas do, and I thought it would be a wonderful way to try to give back to the community where I lived for the past 40 years or so.
You know, a Casa can, well, they do a lot of things. They write recommendations to court and they write their court reports, but, they advocate for that child. What does this child need? All the way from their physical needs to, a permanent placement plan sometimes for that child.
Their presence in the court reminds not only the court, but the attorneys as well, okay, this is primarily about the kids and how they're doing and whether their parents are being safe and nurturing to them.
And our Casas do a tremendous amount of work for those kids, and the kids don't even always know what's going on behind the scenes. But what the kids feel is that this is the first time they've met somebody like this, and they learn that they can count on them. And there's rarely anybody else that fits that role and who stays the same for them.
We can't help all the kids all the time, but you can sure start one at a time. And my reward is just, seeing them evolve and to being afraid in the beginning because they don't know who this person is and why is he trying to help me, to really becoming a friend, to a stranger.
One child that I had did not want to go back to her mother. She was old enough that she could make that choice. And after a lot of discussion with this child, we knew why, and we already knew the mother, and the child just simply didn't want to go back. She wanted to stay in the home she was living in. It was a guardianship. And so, as a Casa, I was able to say to the court, this child feels safe, she feels she's thriving, she wants to stay here.
So this boy's been living in homeless shelters for 2 years, yet continues to go to school every day wherever that homeless shelter is, and he will finish high school on time. And he has nothing to do with drugs, and he has a part-time job, and he's just an awesome 17-year-old, despite the fact that he was given up first by a meth-addicted mother to an adoptive family who decided after a decade and a half they didn't want to be parents anymore. So he's really too old to be adopted. So he's just going to be what we call aging out in the system at 18, 19.
All these kids come from backgrounds that for most of us would be nightmares. They don't have, of my 6 kids, only 2 have fathers that they even know who they are. So now we're talking a family that's so completely dysfunctional just from the get-go. And I have discovered that if all you do is show up and provide consistent support and love, the kids just respond to it instantly. They recognize this is something they really need, and it's something that just a regular old person, can provide without having to be a rocket scientist or anything.
As a child's attorney, I really appreciate having a Casa because I can't go out to the home every week. We're, as court-appointed attorneys, we're funded by taxpayers, and we've got pretty big caseloads, and Casas can go out every week and really develop more real relationships, not just with the kids, but with interested family members and often the parents. So Casas are hugely important.
So a Casa worker, a Casa volunteer
just provided support that people oftentimes aren't able to see it on paper. But you ask any educator if they could have a CASA for each of their children, and the answer would 100% be yes.
I've been surprised at how many children are in these situations. I've been surprised at the amount of neglect that some of the children have been experiencing.
But when you realize how many kids there are without CASAs, there's a void there. And the organization needs more people.
Unfortunately, we do not have enough CASAs for every kid who's in the dependency system. We just have a lot better feel, as the court, about what's really going on.
So I would say, as far as what I would say first, we need CASAs. And then they need financial support. There is so much goes on behind the scenes that nobody is aware of. In the office alone, Winona and her whole staff, they work so hard.
With CASA, because of all of these amazing volunteers doing all of this work, we take everybody's $1 and turn it into $10, maybe $20. The return on investment for what you put into CASA financially, you get back 100-fold in terms of these children that live in our community, that are going to be adults in our community, and are getting these services and these benefits, and the benefit of that one person who's with them.
I mean, they do amazing things with the resources that they have. I'm shocked by how they use their resources and how many kids they help with their limited resources.
You begin to see it. They're doing it for all the right reasons. And it's wonderful to give to an organization that is doing things for all the right reasons. Their focus is totally 100% on the kids. I mean, that by itself makes it very special and different.
For them to be normal, for them to understand that they can have a normal life, and that there are people out there who will treat them with respect and love and consistent support.
I would love to see every child know the love and support of a family.
The other reward is seeing a child finally safe. You know, this child is safe, and this child is protected, and this child is being nurtured, and this child is thriving. That's my reward. I don't care. As long as these children need me, I hope I am there for them.